Rum pum pum pum, rum pum pum pum. Kind of checked out on that one, didn't I? That was probably the easiest Christmas lyric I could have sang here for you guys. Welcome back, Draft Therapy. This is Costco's Brewer's Advent Calendar, day number 8. These are all German beers. Day number 8, if you're following along at home, is 1, 2, 3 from the top on the left side. It's on the left side. It's on its right side. Yeah, that's how that works. So let's go ahead and cut to the chase. We're going to crack down to this one. And that number 8, that means this will be a third of the way through. A third of the way through this whole series. Can you believe it? All right, this month's just flying by. So number 8 is open. All right, so this one is Hoffenhanther, Schlossberry, Tannenhell, Gebrot nach dem, okay. I'm not even going to continue to read everything else on here. It's brewed according to the Bavarian Purity Law from 1516. I saw people mentioning this in comments, I think on either day 1 or day 2, because again, we've kind of figured out that these aren't necessarily going in the same order from what I'm picking as what you might be picking at home. So this is pretty much one of the most ornate cans. It has the most color on it. All the other ones have been usually one solid color with something on it, but this is a bit of a change of pace. This is Tannenhell from Hohenthaner Schloss Brewery since 1864. And this is, what's the ABV on this? This is 5% alcohol by volume. They've all been kind of this is one of the lower ones, I think. Actually, it's probably right in the middle. I think we've had some lower ones. It has the multiple languages on it, all that stuff that you would come to expect. And this, again, expires on May 2022. So let's go ahead and crack this one. We'll get into it. We'll see what it holds. Putting a nose on it. There is a smell in there that I recognize, but I can't articulate what exactly it is. So let's go ahead and pour it. Really light. Very light yellow. Borderline clear almost, coming out of the can. I mean, collecting in the glass here, obviously, it is much, much darker than clear. Again, thankfully, I'm not using the green screen, so you're able to see this label. It's not fading into the background. Not much head. That could have been my pour. Maybe that's just like a scarce kind of faint head on the top. Put a better nose on it. Wow, I'm even getting less aroma now than I was getting before, but what I am getting is kind of just a typical, again, I'm not really so well versed in lagers, so I can't break down like what all the aromas are that I'm getting out of this with any degree of any expertise whatsoever. It just smells like a faint kind of hay kind of aroma, but not, I mean, I'm just like grasping the air to get any kind of smell like that. So let's go ahead and try this one out. Okay, and just to talk about the look of it, it's very nice, clear yellow, no sediment whatsoever floating in that, holding it up to the light. I mean, very scarce, again, very scarce particulate. I've used that word twice now, but let's go ahead and dive right in. Cheers. The mouthfeel, very thin, very light, very crisp. There's not really much. Sometimes you get a bit of a dryness on the tongue after swallowing. This one it has a tad bit of dryness, but it's not, if I hadn't just said that, like sometimes, if I hadn't said that, I wouldn't have even noted that it was dry at all, because it doesn't really have much of a dry kind of mouthfeel. But the flavor, like I said, everything's crisp, light, thin. The flavor is even very crisp, very light. After swallowing, I just get a faint, almost like, I know I've been using honey as a describer for a lot of these beers, but this one's almost like the aftertaste is almost a faint honeycomb kind of flavor. If you chewed on honeycomb, you kind of get that waxy kind of flavor. You get the remnants of the honey, but you're not getting, obviously, the full flavor of the honey, and that's kind of what I'm picking up on this. But it is very sweet coming in, like the first, the drink itself is sweet. The aftertaste is what I'm talking about right there. It's actually much sweeter than I let on at first. It has a nice kind of, honey kind of flavor. Again, I'm so non-well versed at lagers that that's really what I'm picking up on. And it kind of, when it subsides, you still get remnants of honey, but it fades pretty quickly. Again, very light beer, 5% alcohol by volume. I want to say day 7, which was yesterday, and day 8 today, they're very similar. I think day 7 had a little bit more flavor. This one has a lot of flavor, but it also reminds me very much of an American Macro, and maybe I'm totally besmirching the name of this beer by saying anything, that it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Coors Light, more flavorful Coors Light. I like, you know, if I drink a Macro and I want to try something that would be similar to this, I would say Coors Light would be what I would go after. This is much more full flavored. I think this is probably even higher ABV than Coors Light, but it just kind of has that Coors Light kind of vibe to it. I am so very sorry, Hohenhanner, if that's an insult at all to say that it's like a Coors Light, but that's just kind of what it reminds me of. But it's very crisp, very clean. The thing about these beers is I could see them being very, very, very reliably tasting the same. Like you get one batch to the next, kind of like here, big American Macros generally. I don't think I've really heard anybody that said, I didn't like that batch of Miller Lite because it didn't taste like Miller Lite usually does. But they have so many years under their belts, these German breweries, especially they've been around so long. This one's been around since 1864. They have their, you know, they obviously have a standard, and it's a law, it's a purity law, that they have to brew beer in this specific way. So that's kind of what I'm picking up, again, kind of summarizing. Sorry if I'm insulting this beer, but it reminds me a lot of Coors Light. And that's not an insult in my book because I like Coors Light for a Macro. So, anyways, that's been day 8. That's been Hohenthur Schloss Brewery Tannenhell, and this is a 5%, I'm going to guess, lager. That's just a shot in the dark. And so if you're enjoying these videos, you know, make sure you check me out. Come back for day 9. We're going to talk about the next brewery, the next mystery beer that we're going to get. I'm going to talk uneducatedly about that one just as much as I have about all these previous ones. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries wherever they are, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.